Welcome everybody to the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. If you are living in the Southern California area, please check out some of our live stand-up shows. December 9th, we'll be at PBW in downtown Pomona. December 16th, we'll be in Santa Monica. December 23rd, we'll be at the Rec Room in Huntington Beach. For more information on any of these shows, please follow us on social media at Comedy Pop-Up, and please visit our website, comedypopupla.com. All right, let's get on with the show.
Hey, what's up, party people? This is comedian Ron G, and welcome to another episode of the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast, man. Today is a really awesome day. I'm very excited about my life. Got some cool stuff going on. I'm shooting a movie next week with Cat Williams and Jay Farrell. It's going to be really great, man. But I have some really, really great, dope guests in the state in the studio today, and I can't wait to introduce them. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and do it. First up, man, this dude was nominated as the funniest college kid by Jimmy Kimmel, which is so freaking exciting. He was also on Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns, tours internationally, and he's going to be on Laugh Tracks on True TV, which I can't wait to see. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love for Sean G.
Yeah. Oh, man. Appreciate that.
Hey, there we go. All right. And next up in the house is a personal friend of mine. Actually, this dude's probably one of the dopest cats I've met in LA, man. Real proud of this dude, man. He's a speaker. He's a mentor. He had a full scholarship to the University of Utah doing big things. He was also the Hank and Marvin Miller's screenwriting program at USC. And he has a card game right now when he partnered with Ludacris called Slang and Friends, which I'm very excited about, man. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love for Ed Benton. Yeah. What's up, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
Great, man. Appreciate you having me, bro.
Hey, man, we're in a great space, man. I'm so proud of both of y'all being here, man. I specifically wanted both of y'all to be here because I feel like both of y'all are really two dope cats doing your thing in your particular industry. Sean, I've had a chance to work with you plenty of times, man. Every time people bring your name up, they always mention like, "Oh, you the other G," or yeah, this is the G show.
Man, yeah, I feel because people be like, "Yeah, you related to Ron G?" I'm like, you don't know how last names work. It's just that's just a letter.
It's a stage name, right.
But yeah, you know,
light skin. The last name is G. You gotta be Cuttins. Come on.
No, but I go by Sean Grant. I don't know why I thought like when I first started, I started in like 05.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, okay, I can't be a black comedian with just my name. Like I got to say G. Like, well, you know.
But you started in the South. I feel like it's part of Southern comedy culture to have a nickname. Like,
yeah, and then but then somebody was like, "What's your last name?" I was like, "Grant." And they're like, "Just okay." I was like,
"That's a great last name. It's real." White folk friendly. They can't tell until they see you. Like, oh, you're one of those. Oh, okay. All right.
People would think I was Hispanic, like Gonzalez or Garcia. People thought that was my last name. I'm like, nah, it's just Grant.
Let me guess. Your mom's Mexican? Is that right? Is that right?
No, my real pops was Puerto Rican, but my stepdad that raised me Jamaican. So I've been pretty much raised just black.
Really?
Yeah. My mom's black.
So it's like a chitlin burrito, a little side of okay, cool.
Cilantro.
A little cilantro on the side.
Racist.
For no reason, right? All right. But I always brag about you, man, when people talk about, because I feel like you're one of the dopest writers in comedy. And I really do genuinely mean that. Like, you're one of the cats I know that can probably do a hood spot and then go over to a mainstream room with some old white folks and still rock the crowd, which a lot of cats can't do that. How did that happen? Like, have you always been that comic, or like just over time,
I think
trial and error, you figured
happened
it out?
early coming from Miami. I started in Miami, and then I went to school in Tallahassee at Florida State. So I had to learn very quickly that a joke could be funny, but it's just how much access to the information do those people have. So when I was doing Jamaican, Cuban jokes in Tallahassee, what the hell are you talking? Do some NASCAR jokes, boy. So I was like, okay, it's not that it's not funny. They just don't have access to that particular information.
Yeah.
And that's coming from you, man. That's something because you're one of the people who I've seen could rock Last Comic Standing.
I appreciate it, bro.
The hood, like I think you set speaking of the family room, which is in Compton, like one of the most hood rooms out here.
It's super hood.
4 fights out there. Seen a lady lose her teeth and all kind of stuff.
I was standing outside and this lady drove by and she was like, "Why y'all outside?" And I was like, "Well, we was getting some air." She was like, "Y'all probably want to get some air inside." I was like, hilarious. No lie. It's just that hood.
But in the night when you set the record because they tip you there. You don't get paid.
I remember that too. That's money. Crazy.
I think you must have made like $1,000 because some hood dudes. No, the hoodest dudes was trying to heckle you, and then you was going at them, and then like these women, you know, like was loving you, so they were throwing out all their money, and you was making the gangsters mad, but making them laugh at it. Yeah, you remember that night? I think they were blood.
I didn't know I was about to go to my last show. I had no clue.
I'm like, Ron is.
I think Ron's one of the hardest working comedians.
Thank you, bro.
He was willing to die.
San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Go to Orange County. Like,
Right.
This dude's insane, man.
I appreciate it, man. And also, did you ever do that comedy room at the Improv? Was it not Benji? Was it Razor?
Benji Brown.
That, with
Tuesday
all the
night.
Haitians?
Oh my God,
Bro, that was literally the hardest room I've ever done.
Oh, you did? Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
So if y'all listen to the Miami Improv has a certain, it's like urban night, but it's all Haitians. I'm thinking they regular black people because I didn't grow up around Haitians.
Oh,
and when
no.
I tell you, when I got out, they booed me just because of my shirt.
Oh, my God.
Just because. And while I was performing, this girl was like, "Leave him alone. He's funny and cute." And I'm like, man, it was the weirdest moment ever. But I almost took an L.
Oh,
I almost took an L.
Yeah, that was because and no, I mean I love Benji Brown. He's one of the great comedians, but the way he would host it too would be very hood. Like he would start, he walk in an hour late. Did he do that the night you were there?
Probably so.
Show post started 10. He walk in the
I knew
building.
the sun came up when I was coming on stage.
Right. Yeah, he walk in an hour late and then do an hour up front.
Yeah.
And he do a lot of hoods. The most funny dude because I'm from Miami, so I get with it. But I'm like, damn, it's hard to follow that up with, you know what I mean? Like just regular like relationship stuff. You ain't doing that at
They don't want
2
to
in
hear
the
that.
morning.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I got my boy Ed in the building, man. I'm so proud of this guy, man. You just released a card game called Slang and Friends, man. Actually, I didn't get a chance to go to the release party. Was that the release party that we went to?
Somewhat.
It was a pre-release party, but it was really great.
Yeah, it's not completely released yet, so we're still working on it. So we did a little Kickstarter. We hit our goal, and now
Tell them more about what it is so they get a feel for it. Because I know it was you piggybacked it off of the app that you did, right?
Right.
So tell them more about it.
So we created the app. We launched that in January, and that's basically Words with Friends with slang.
Yeah,
I used to
man.
play Words with Friends.
How'd you gather all those slang? It's slang. It's like different slang no matter where you live at. How'd you gather all that information to even create the app?
We have as much as we can, but we're still gathering. So we have a feature in the app that if you play a slang word and it doesn't exist, you can submit it right there. We'll research it and we'll add it if it's a real slang
That's
word.
what's up.
Yeah. And we provide
That's funny. So
definitions, everything.
if you super country, you like, hey man, thangle is a word, like a thang of grits. Let me get a thang of grits, a thang of eggs. Like, go ahead and put submit thangler. It's a thing. Come on now. You can submit on the spot a word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we give bonus points. So that's what makes us different. We give 10 bonus points for each slang word that you play.
Yeah.
So like Words with Friends, they don't allow you to play slang words. You just get denied.
Right.
We flipped it.
Black folk, we be pissed off.
Yeah. We're going to show love for doing it. So you can download it right now. It's called Slang and Friends. It's on all tablets, devices, all that. But
and make sure you spell it right so they know how to say it. Because I know it's spelled a particular way.
slang, the letter N, and then friends with
There
the
you
Z
go.
on it. Yeah. And then, so later, I wanted to do a card game. I like Cards Against Humanity.
Right.
But I thought once I learned that the market was blowing up, it's like a multi-billion-dollar industry now. Card games, just tabletop games.
Didn't they just buy some large corporation too? Or they threatened, somebody criticized somebody against Trump and they was like, we'll buy your company. The Cards Against Humanity company was going to buy another company as a part of the movement to like,
dang.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, Zynga, everybody, they're in it is heavy.
Yeah.
So we created one. It's basically, it's a slang thing, card game. You can act it out, use it in a sentence.
Yeah.
You can create your own viral dance craze. It's crazy, but we're still developing it. So we're testing it, and it should be out middle of 2018.
Right.
What's crazy,
and one thing I like, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say like now you could do that because back in the day I remember when slang words were very colloquial. You could only like if somebody said something in Atlanta, they have completely different slang than somebody in Miami or at New York and California. But now people, because of the internet, I guess.
I was just about to say that because of the internet and TV and just black culture, you know, we set the standard for everything.
Mushing
Like
together.
it's all like this whole generation is cultural appropriation. You know what I'm saying?
I used to not even understand a dude from New Orleans. Like I'd be like, they speaking another language. You know what I mean?
They need subtitles.
But now you go and you're like, oh, okay, because you reading memes and stuff. You're like, so that's dope.
You know
man.
what's crazy is a fun fact is, do you guys know that William Shakespeare is the creator of slang?
And wow, no,
Are you saying like created the first slang?
Yeah. He's responsible for more than 1,700 words being added to the English dictionary.
Damn.
Really?
Shakespeare, yeah. Most people don't know that.
He stole it from a black man. I know he did. Didn't get a black dude credit.
Damn it, Bill.
He said, Bill. That's funny, man. So the cool thing is, I think about both of y'all is you guys have the ability to create from scratch and make it blend over into the mainstream. Everybody can't do that. Like even me, I started out doing comedy in Atlanta, a place called Uptown Comedy Club, and I'm performing for dope dealers and strippers.
Right.
And I'm from the hood, but I went to college. And for some reason, I feel like I couldn't express myself because by the time I got on stage, they was so ready to boo. But then I went over to another place on the other side of town in Atlanta called Twisted Taco, which is more of a mainstream room. And I found my flow and my groove, and then I was able to do the hood spots and that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What about you? Like anything with your background allowed you to have the ability to do both rooms? I know both of y'all, you know, from smaller towns, and then you both went to college. Is that any of that influences your creativity or your creative process?
I think so. For me, yeah, it was definitely well. One, I grew up mostly sheltered in the house. Like I grew up in the hood, but like I had to be in the house by 6. You know what I'm saying? So I was watching.
From the hood, but had to do your homework.
Right. So I had to, because grandma didn't play that. But I would watch like certain television shows like Honeymooners and I Love Lucy.
That's funny.
And Saved by the Bell. So I understood why, even though I never met a white person until I lived with one in
How did that
college.
happen?
That was crazy because I grew up in Miami. Miami's very much like people stay to the, so you have black areas that nobody,
Haitian,
everybody,
Cuban,
right? Everybody black, Haitian, Jamaican, and then you got like your little Hialeah or whatever, which is, or little Havana.
Yeah.
Then you have Kendall, which is white people, and nobody meets anybody. I know a lot. My granddaddy met 5 white people his whole life, like because he just
5.
a mechanic. He met 5.
That's
like
funny.
literally, like his whole life. But when I went to college, I lived with one. And the first year in the dorm, and it was like I learned a lot about, you know, we had very honest conversations about race. And so I was like, oh.
Was it a culture shock?
It was, for him and me. You know, we both.
What's a bagel? What's this bagel thing you speak of? What is this bagel thing?
One day he comes in, he's like, hey, Sean, there's something going on in the lounge. And I'm like, I knew there was a black student union meeting, right?
Hilarious.
But I'm like, what do you mean? What's going on? Oh, there's just like a meeting or something. And I was like, what kind of meeting, Dan? He's like, all right, Sean, damn it. Okay, I saw a bunch of black people in the lounge and I thought you'd be interested. So it's like, yeah, you know, but we started having cool conversations and I was like, oh, okay, you know what? There's nothing, they're just people, but I get that they don't understand like certain dynamics in our culture, like light skin. You know, and if I wanted to do, like I could do that joke in front of black people and they would just get it. Like, oh, we snitch. I could do jokes about myself as a light-skinned person, but white people might not get it because they're just not around the culture. And there's nothing wrong with that. We can introduce it in a way or just find things that make us the same. Like you were saying before we started, but you were talking to Paul about comedy. You talk about yourself.
Yeah, talk about yourself.
And your relationships.
Starting
and I
point,
think anybody can resonate with the truth about your humanity.
Absolutely. And you too, Ed, like you went to college at the University of Utah. I can't think of a whiter place on the planet besides Charlottesville.
Yeah, it's pretty damn white. When I went out there, man, I thought it'd just be racist, you know, all white people.
Yeah.
I feel out of place. But I did feel out of place, and I was scared to answer questions in class because I felt like everybody was judging the black race. What I said.
Wow.
But what I finally came to realize is, and this happened one night. First, let me tell you this story.
Yeah.
He
has great stories, by the way.
This one's an okay story, but it made me realize something. So it's about midnight. I got some oil. I got the little indicator on my car said your car needs oil. So I got some oil. I lifted up the hood. I'm in a parking lot, a dark parking lot, and I'm putting oil in my car. My car runs fine, and this little white lady stops and says, hey, do you need any help?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm fine. Thank you. And I thought
that weird?
That was super weird because I had this notion of how people thought about me, and it wasn't the case.
You look like a threat.
Yeah, you know, I'm
football player. Yeah,
it's dark parking lot, and she stopped and asked me if I needed help.
Yeah,
so that really just changed my thinking. And then also one thing I learned in Utah, being on a football team with a bunch of guys from all over the place, is it made me appreciate my father more. So my father wasn't. I grew up with my mom, but I seen my fathers on Christmas breaks and summer. But I had a bunch of guys on my team who didn't have fathers, and I saw how they acted compared to how I acted. That they dealt with compared to
just
me.
Just because he was there.
Just because my father was in my life, I could call him. You know what I'm saying? He'd send me money for school
Who's this?
clothes.
It's me, Dad.
Yeah, he was in my life.
Right.
But it was a huge difference in him just being there and the cats who wasn't and what they're doing now and me. So I took that into my life and I moved forward, and I don't have kids yet, but I definitely want to raise them the right way. And it was just motivating and eye-opening, those two realizations that I had out there that has an influence on my work.
Man, that's so crazy. And just curious, man, like when I met you, you were a writer and producer. You were producing movies and writing, directing. How'd you go from writing, producing, directing to like, I'm gonna start an app that's gonna change the game?
Yeah, man, I have this philosophy. it's don't force it for one, and just go down the river of life. So, like I said, I'm still in the film. I still do that, but I was playing Words with Friends, and I had an idea for an app, and I got an income tax refund check or whatever at that time for like $5,000.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was a graphic designer,
Ballin'.
another dude who did sound, and I called him. I said, "This is my idea. Can you help me?" And they helped me, and we threw it together, and we made it happen. So it's like I was creating in a different realm.
Yeah.
I don't want to be locked in.
Yeah.
And all these other experiences that I do, I have a healthcare business as well. I do all kinds of stuff, but that all comes together and has expanded my writing and film, all these other experiences. So it all works at the end of the day.
Right. Man, that's so crazy. And like, I'm just curious too, since I've known you, I've never known you to have a 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And most people don't get the life that we live, where you have this dream in your head, but you don't have the details. Right. And people back home be fascinated. Like, man, you live in LA, you doing your thing, bro. Right. And they don't know you eating grits every meal. Right. They don't know you out here struggling. They have no clue, but they're still impressed by it. What keeps you two in the game to where you don't want to go back home and you keep living for this dream that's in your head that you can't physically see it? You can see it in your head, but you can't see it until it actually becomes a thing.
Man.
Like, what keeps you?
You know what? I really did have and I don't want to get too spiritual, but
you can do what you got to do. This is what we do. This is comedy pop-up. We don't small talk.
I'm with it then. All right, cool. Well, I wouldn't even say it's faith in God anymore, because I heard his voice one night. Like, I literally, I was living in my car and doing all that. Like,
you actually lived in your car.
I lived in my car for like about 3 months, because I had 2 day jobs, 2 jobs, and I would do comedy at night, and I was never going to my place anyway. Yeah. And I had a 24-hour fitness membership back then.
I was about to say, you had the gym membership? I hear about the gym membership.
So I would just shower at the gym anyway. So I was like, well, what am I using this place for? I can't even go. I literally didn't go there for like a week. And I was like, well, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to tell my landlord, and stop paying rent and save money. And it's bad on your back, because the car seat don't go all the way back. Very hard to, do a lot of things, and women is not a thing.
Where you send your mail to?
You know what?
Just curious.
My buddy still stayed at the place. So I had roommates. So I was they just had a new roommate, and one of my buddies, I just get the mail from him.
So you sublease your sublease.
Right. Well, yeah, somebody just took it over, and I get my mail from the old homie, and he looked out.
Okay.
But I was lucky to meet some of the best friends I've had in that time. And I could hear God's voice clearly, because more people leave your life, when you're doing that. And then you're like, oh, okay. And now that I'm doing a lot better, one thing I have to keep focused on, because I can't hear God's voice as much anymore, because I ignore it. Yeah. Or I don't you know what I mean? Like,
drown it out with noise.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I want to pray on things and find God's guidance, and I'm like, dang, why can't I hear it? Because he'll tell me to do something, and I'll go with my own judgment right now, because I'm doing so good. You know what I mean? Not realizing I could lose it all again. Like, I could be back where I was. And
back on the passenger side.
Exactly.
Knocked
so I need to everything. Even coming to the podcast today, I'm like, let me ask God about it. Obviously in the natural, it feels like I'm the right thing. Of course, Ryan J asked you to do the podcast. But, hey, well, let me see what God says about it. Yeah. Well, it can make as much sense to the world as possible, but the more you include him in your decisions, the more his voice. So I like that going down the river thing. That's kind of what I'm doing now, like letting God guide my path and not doing it with my own.
Man, that's awesome. If you're tuning in right now, you listen to the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast with host Ron G. In the building, we got Ed, Benton, and Sean G. We're basically talking about our journey to this dream, man, because a lot of us, we have this dream, but nobody give you, God don't necessarily give you the details. And sometimes I feel like he don't give you the details to protect you, because if you knew all the stuff you had to go through to become who you are, like even for myself, I probably wouldn't be here. If I knew I had to leave my family, miss holidays, you miss out on seeing your parents getting older, you miss out on graduations and all these important days for this dream, man. Like, it'll be a little discouraging. Like, even leaving quality friendships that I know I have back home. Like LA, I always say I have to piece together my friendships. Like, I got church friends, club friends, and coworkers. I can't necessarily put them all in one basket. Because back home, I go to my homie's house, we do nothing and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? But out here, it's a little bit different, man. Also, I saw that you won Funniest College Kid on Jimmy Kimmel. Tell me about that.
I was.
That's
still
a big
in college.
deal, man.
Oh, thank you, bro. Yeah, I was in college, and they had like a national search, and I sentient. It's funny because I actually, one of the first lessons I got from God, I didn't really, wasn't very religious back then or spiritual at all, but I had a buddy.
Being broke make you closer to God. I don't know what it is about being broke. It make you real sober. You like,
Man,
Jesus.
Yeah, and you learn lessons, and man, I tell you, you relearn them. Like the more you like ignore lessons. So like that experience taught me something about jealousy. My buddy got the call first. It was 4 of us that got flown out there, and when he called me and was
There's
like,
in LA?
to LA to do the Jimmy Kimmel thing, and I didn't get the call at first. And he was telling me, and I was just like, I wasn't as happy for him. It'd be like, you call me up, hey man, I got this. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. It probably, it's whatever, man. He was like, did you get a call? I was like, yeah, but them things don't do nothing for you. Whatever. It's just, I was hating on him. And then God made me search your soul and apologize to your friend. I had to call him the next day and say,
search
look,
your
Lane,
soul.
Like, you know what I mean? And I literally had to be like, look, man, I'm sorry. Like how I came off, I was hurt. You know what I mean? That I didn't get the call, and as I had to call you back and say, look, I'm genuinely happy. It had to be somebody, and I'm genuinely happy you're one of those people. Go there and win it. And then 2 weeks later, I got the call. The dude was like, oh, we went on vacation, so I called 2 people, and then I called the other 2 people. Yeah. But I really think if I didn't make amends with Lane and say, like, get over my own jealousy and my own like trying to control how my success will come about, that I wouldn't have gotten that call. Like,
that's pretty cool, man.
And then I went and won, and it's been fun ever since, but up and down. But hey,
that's so cool, man.
I had to learn that lesson first, man.
Yeah, and then my boy Ed, man, I'm so proud of you, man, and watching your journey. And I feel like I've been there the entire time. Like, to watch you grow, man. And now you're doing speaking engagements. Didn't you recently have one at USC or something like that?
Yeah.
What was that about? Was that about being a business owner? Like, what was that for?
Yeah, it was an entrepreneurship class, and this doctor invited me to come speak about my journey and what I'm
crazy,
doing,
man?
Inspiring. Yeah, because traditionally I never saw myself as a speaker.
Man, you got it.
Thanks.
You got
Appreciate it. Glory to God, man.
Yeah.
Like, and to touch on what you were saying, I agree. Like, I'm not so much structured Christian wise anymore. I'm more spiritual. I'm more open because I'm realizing that it's all about like what you feel. Like if you feel positive, you attract positive.
Absolutely.
Like I feel like we make it way more confusing than it has to be. It's simpler. Just you put out, you get back what you put out. Like all those small cliches that people talk about, those are real things that make sense, but we tend to kind of throw them to the back because we heard them so much. But yeah, what's the question again, Ron?
About just being a speaker, man. Like, again, sometimes like I said, God don't give you all the details of what your life gonna look like. Because again, I did a TED Talk, and I'm like, I'm no expert on nothing. I'm just good at comedy. But I did a legit TED Talk to a bunch of young adults about pursuing your dreams and your passion, and all the stuff that made me weird as a kid now make me money. But growing up, I'm like, why do I always like become a person when I'm telling the story instead of just saying what they said? I would become the person as a kid. But then you get older, I'm like, oh, like this is how I make my money.
But that's that thing, that's that floating down the river thing. When you're just going through life, not locked into anything, unplugged. You're open to everything. And so God can send you stuff any kind of way. I one time came up with this bomb idea for a script and wrote it and almost sold it from a conversation I had with a homeless dude. You know what I'm saying? It's just, so you got to be open to absolutely everything. So like, I'm writing books now. I'm never,
Isn't that crazy?
You know what I'm saying? And
Isn't that crazy?
A lot of this stuff is easier than you think it is. You know what I'm saying? So there's a process to it. But just for those of you listening, just don't be close to anything. And just be open and be positive and show love, and you get back what you put out.
And so I want to address this too, because I realized I had a conversation with somebody, and the person was like, yo, can you write me a stand-up set?
Dang.
And I'm like, the person, I knew them as a singer. And I'm like, you want to do stand-up? And they was like, yeah, just write me a set, because I know it's another thing to have in my tool belt so I can perform. And I'm like, well, why don't you just master the thing that you're good at instead of like doing all these things? Because I know so many people in LA, they think comedy is just something you can walk on stage and do. Like, I've been doing this for a long time. Like, comedy is my main chick. Like, you can't side chick comedy, and it takes a lot of dedication. But the fact that I've done stand up now, I got a pilot with Nickelodeon. I was on Insecure. Matter of fact, I just won an Emmy for writing, and I'm like, because I focus on stand up has opened doors for all this other stuff. So if you're listening, I want to tell you, man, master that one thing, and all the other stuff that's in your head can come to life if you actually pursue it. Like even you, Ed, I feel like you get more and more opportunities because that one thing that you did opened up doors for so much other stuff, and you meeting all these great people that can finance other stuff. And it's like, because you took a chance, like now other things have opened up for you. Even Sean, we talked about you going overseas. Like the fact that you start doing stand-up, You know what I'm saying? You have a story where like I perform in another country.
Exactly.
A country boy from
I couldn't imagine
from the South, and now you performing in another country with people that don't live or look like you.
I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Just because you said yes to your dream.
Yeah. I have family members that barely go to the beach and they live in Miami. You know what I mean?
Right.
They never go.
Like water's in your backyard.
Right. They don't know nothing up past West Palm Beach. But
Yeah.
I get to go to I've been to Scotland, I've been to England, I've been to
Crazy,
Hawaii, and most every state in the continental U.S. Doing stand up, man. Just
Yeah.
And what's funny is I'm not even the funniest person in my family. Usually comedians aren't. You're not the funniest dude in your circle, but I was just the one that brave enough to bomb. Yeah, exactly. I said yes.
Said yes and tried it. Yeah.
No, you're right, dude. Like playing football, I seen so many cats that would make it to the NFL and kill, but they didn't have the grades, so they couldn't make it to college. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's the people who put the effort in and do the work. So you did the work and you're there. Like it's not about talent, man. I tell people that all the time, and that's why you got talent and work ethic. That's why you're gonna be at the top. But
thank you, bro.
For those of you guys listening, it's not the talent, it's the work and it's consistency.
Yeah.
Dang, man.
I absolutely agree, man. And just you learn so much stuff from your mistakes, man. You guys have a defining moment. Like for me, maybe for you, even when you won college with Funniest College Kid, was that a defining moment? Like I'm supposed to do this?
Yeah, that definitely was.
Like what was the stamp for you? Like okay, I got this thing.
Well, no, when I met when Jimmy came down because somebody had done an epic bomb the week before, so they didn't film us live. So because they were afraid,
Just in case.
Literally,
turn the mic off. You can finish the set. Go ahead.
Man, you could probably Google it. Somebody, this is back in it was 09 or something, but somebody had the worst ever set. He was like an actor or something like that and tried stand up and bombed real hard. So they're like, yeah, we're not going to film it. We'll do it after the show and then put the highlights of whatever you do if you guys do well.
Yeah.
And I cheated too, because they told us, okay, how much time do you want to do? We were like, 5 minutes. That's what everybody, because they had 5 minutes. But I had a strong 10. So I went last and I did 10 and the other dudes are like, man, what's he doing? I'm like, hey, this is not a club. We know the rules of a club is like, get off because the waitresses have to. But they was like, the producers were like, whatever, the show's over. So the crowd just stayed over. They were laughing. And so I kind of, I did more material. They had more to pick from. And I felt so like Kelly Clarkson was it Kelly Clarkson? No, who's the one? Jordan, the black girl that won.
Jordan Sparks?
Sparks. Oh my gosh, so beautiful in
She's
person.
so fine.
Oh my God. And so
She better look me in the eyes. Don't
she
look
was
me in the
like,
eyes.
congratulations. Like, she had these amazing eyes. And I felt, I just melted. All these people were like, David Greer was on the show that day. It was great set. Jimmy came down, took pictures with us. And then
that's a defining moment, man.
It really was. And then it's almost like I don't know if you read The Power of Now? One of those.
Power of Now.
That book.
You actually got that book for me.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh no, and that book I've read, but all The Alchemist, where you kind of start from the beginning in a way, you know that. So I felt all this, you get that beginner's luck, if you will. Like I don't been doing comedy 2 years.
I don't think it was the beginner's luck.
Well, no, but just to get a taste of it. Like, this is wow, look at this. And then
you get that commercial for the full movie.
Right. And then a few years later I'm homeless. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's cool because I'm like, I want to work back to that. Like now I got a taste of that, and I know what it's like, and I know that through God's grace and through my efforts, I can get back.
I feel like
there.
God does it on purpose, man. He real smart, man. I feel like whatever He wants you to experience, He'll let you experience the greatness of it in the beginning. And if you ever fall away from it, you always reminded of, man, I remember how that felt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like always, man. My defining moment was I started doing comedy in Atlanta at Uptown Comedy Club. I always mention this story, but my first time on stage, my cousin was a comic. He was like, yo, get on stage. I did Apollo night. It was dope dealers and strippers, and they booed everybody that went up before me and pretty much everybody after me. And I got on stage, I had one joke, and they was like, boo! And the boo was okay, but then they told me to kill myself. And to kill myself, like for some reason, I'm competitive. I'm like, even though it didn't feel right to get booed, I'm like, I know I'm funnier than what I saw. And I know I'm funny, but I call it having that dog. I had that dog and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna figure this thing out. And I figured it out and got better. But shortly after that, about 8 months later, I performed at Fort Benning, right outside of Atlanta. It's a military base. And I got a standing ovation, and the general gave me this coin. And I heard that most people don't even have this coin in the military because the general gave me a specific coin. And to get a standing ovation 8 months after you got booed and got told to kill yourself, it was like, okay, I'm supposed to do this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm supposed to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man.
What about you? You had a moment where you like...
Yeah, I definitely had a defining moment. It was in college, in film school, and I'll never forget it. The teacher he had done some movies, he had written some scripts, so he was kind of like a big name to us in Utah. So he had this day where he was just answering any questions, and my turn finally came up, and I asked him, I said, what do I need to do to become a director in Hollywood? And he gave me, and I was expecting this great response of 1, 2, 3, 4-step process. He leaned in, he said, just do it. And that's it. And at the time, I didn't know how profound that was.
Right.
But soon it would become the theme of my life. Really. It was like if I had an idea or something I was interested in enough where I couldn't get it out of my head, I would just do it. And I can say that is the reason why I am where I am today, because I just do it. And when you do it, the pieces just come. God brings you everything you need on your path. But you got to have faith first and believe that it can happen. Man. And that also has taught me to invest in myself. So I don't wait for anybody for anything because of the just do it. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't wait for anybody. I just do it. If I don't have the money, I'm expecting it's going to come some kind of way.
Absolutely.
And it does. So that was definitely a defining moment in my life.
Absolutely. And one thing I learned about myself as well, man, sometimes God will prepare me for where I'm going by getting me unfamiliar with what's familiar. Like example, I lived in Atlanta. I was unemployed almost the entire time. I had a degree, my first job out of college, and I'm all excited. Like I'm wearing a suit to work. You know, my parents, they blue collar. They ain't never wore no suit to work, and I'm wearing a suit to work, and I'm thinking it's a big deal. And when I got fired from my first job, like it did something to me because I built my whole identity around like I'm a young black man.
What you get fired for, Ron? What you get fired for?
Well, I was silly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be silly and manage money. I was an accountant. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't make sense. I wasn't moldable. You know what I'm saying? Most people go to a corporate job, they're a moldable piece of clay. I wasn't moldable. I'm wearing earrings and being goofy in meetings. They're like, yeah, we appreciate what you're doing, but yeah, we've had enough. But yeah, so I was broke almost the whole time, but I think God prepared me for not being addicted to the check.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like most people scared to pursue their dreams because they got to get that check on Friday. If you don't get that check, it's I guess a level of anxiety or comfort that is not there that you're scared of. But then when I moved to LA, I got my first job here. They held it for 3 months and it was a sales job. And they fired me my first month. And I wasn't scared. I was like, yo, you can't kill me. I'm already dead.
Right.
But something in that created this resilience where I'm like, I'm not worried about the money. And then once you pursue whatever you're doing, when you start making money at it, you're not tripping on money. So now I remember there was a time when I auditioned, I'm like, I got to get this so I can pay my rent. I got to get this so I can pay my car note. But now it's like, I don't care. I'm going to do it because I love it and I'm dope. You know what I'm saying? It's the thing. You stop caring about that addiction and you worry about the goal in the future and know that God got you. Because I had so many moments where I lost my job when I first bought my home. And the level of anxiety that come along with buying a home and losing a job is freaking scary. But now it's like, I've never like missed a mortgage payment ever. And I've not always worked, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I just feel like God has always been there. What have you learned along your journey, like to keep you in the race and not be worried about the day-to-day stuff? Because I know sometimes the day-to-day stuff, it's kind of real hard to be funny when you're hungry. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When your stomach growling, you like, hey, how y'all doing? How's everybody doing tonight?
No, you know what? It's almost the same thing because like going through that period of like being hungry, not having that much money, really taught me what I can do, like what I can survive. So like, why am I afraid now? Yeah. Like if God has always given me exactly what I need, and now I know how little I need. Like I look down the barrel of a $20 bank account, I'm like, okay, I can survive 2 weeks. You know what I mean? With that, because I did. You know what I mean? And so now that I have a lot more money. Exactly, rice, ramen, things like that.
Wrong with drinking water? I need more water anyway.
There's so much stuff you can do with ramen too, man. Ketchup, all kind of stuff, man. So you know, like hot sauce, put it in there. So it's like, yeah, man. Like you figure out sometimes God has to show you that how strong you really are. I would have never believed it. As much as my mother loves me, she would have had me never believe it in what I can do in life because she's so protective of me. Yeah. She never really would let me find out. And I don't have any kids, but when I raise them, I would want, you know, it's easy to say now, but I would want them to go through their journey and find out what they can survive. You know how you see your boy out there on the football field or whatever. Yeah. And the football field is very much like a little microcosm of life. Like, because I've seen brothers who it can bring you through like a mental thing, like comedy. Like comedy, you funny, but you don't have the thing to get up again. You know what I mean? Like in certain sports and certain realms
you get knocked out. Do you want to get back up after you get knocked out?
Oh my God. Yeah. But like Muhammad Ali talks about getting knocked down and like the first time you in this room with the masks and you don't know what to do.
Everybody looking at you. Yeah.
And then the second time you get knocked out or like your days, you're like, oh, you put the mask on. And you don't, that's what you're supposed to do. That's how so he can get through his fights now because he doesn't look knocked out. Same as you, a joke bomb. You be in the middle of it, and I could watch Ron and be like, I've seen him and I've seen that joke kill, like go hard.
Yeah.
And then that joke, got a good reaction, but they don't know, you know what I mean? They can't tell because you're professional.
Yeah.
Like when you're young, that joke don't hit the way you want it to.
Yeah.
And your head jerk back. You know what I mean? And then you start looking at your shoes.
Start getting hot for no reason.
Yeah. Ooh. And you can tell when he's losing momentum.
Yeah.
But now you hit it. Oh, then if they ain't laugh, it wasn't a joke.
Yeah, I legit don't care
you hit the
anymore.
next
I don't
one.
care, yeah.
And then the next one. So they don't know. Like the crowd is like, that dude's amazing. You know what I mean? But we can break it down like that. Same with, I think, with other realms of sports. So like once you find out what you can get through and how strong you actually are, I don't think there's no nothing that stops you from continuing to go.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that's very good. A lot of the lessons I learned on the football field. But what I did about 10 years ago, and I suggest everybody else do this, sit back and think of all the most important lessons that you learned in life and make it your mission statement. So I took 3 of the most important lessons I learned and said, I'm going to live by this. And so one of them is, don't force anything. So I don't force relationships. I don't force businesses. If it doesn't feel right, just let it go. 2, doubt the doubt. So if you want to do something and that little voice comes in your head saying you can't do it because you don't have the money or you're not handsome enough or whatever the case may be, because you hear that voice, you have to
tell
do
yourself
it.
that. You not know yourself.
I'm just giving you an example. But yeah, everybody
Mr. Kind Eyes over here. Like, I'm not handsome enough. I'm not handsome. I'm gorgeous. Look at my eyes. What's the third one?
Listen to your spirit.
Yeah.
So when you're faced with a question or in a situation, there's that initial gut thing telling you which way you should go. Right. And I've learned in my life that when I've questioned that and went the other way, I was wrong more times than right. Yeah. So I made it a point to go with that first gut instinct. And since I've been winning. So listen to your inner spirit, doubt the doubt, and don't force anything. And those right there is gold.
I piggybacking on the statement you made about doubting the doubt, I feel like in my own personal life, the things that scare me the most are normally the things I should lean into. And every time I've leaned into those things, they legit changed my life. From getting on stage, I used to like dance a lot in college, so I was known for dancing. But don't judge me. But I feel like God was setting me up to be prepared to be entertained in front of people. You know what I'm saying? Right. But there was something about getting on stage that's like the most scariest thing ever, man. Because people always say they want to do stand-up, but they ain't got on stage. I'm like, you get on that stage. I always tell people, if you want to do stand-up, get on stage 3 times, then come talk to me. Because that first time I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. You know what I'm saying? But those things that I felt that there was a piece about it, but it's still scary. Those are the things that you should lean into. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I call that like making your weaknesses your strengths. Right. Like, I try to turn everything into like some type of mantra or something.
It's like a walking book, bro.
But really, like
a walking self-help book.
Thank you.
Come on, champ. You got this, champ.
But yeah, that's dope, Ron. Like,
I'm learning, man. It's exactly. And Seinfeld had a really dope quote, man. He had a DVD called Comedian. I don't know if you saw it, but he threw away all his material and started over. You know what I'm saying? Which is so amazing. But the quote was, he said, amateurs work on the things they're good at and professionals work on the things they're not good at. Wow. Which is really true, because in comedy, I've seen cats do the exact same set they did on comedy, which is 1990 something, and they're still doing the same set. And then they're mad at a new generation of comedians who are doing point of view, social media, and they're like, "Well, real comedians, blah blah blah," right? And nobody cares anymore. And I'm like, "Well, you didn't keep up. You didn't stay fresh. You didn't work on the things you weren't good at. You complaining. Even the young cats, older cats, be like, them cats doing social media, they can't do nothing on the stage." I'm like, shut up and learn how to do these videos with these cats. Right. You know what I'm saying? Take them on the road with you and get some wisdom, and then you can help your own career versus complaining, standing still. Because your only reward for complaining is, that's it. Yeah. You're complaining. That's the only thing you're getting from it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's crazy about you, because like you've always, I'm not. You're a big homie in comedy as far as like people have like admire you. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, bro.
But you've never like you don't stop. Like you were popping before the social media got big.
Yeah.
And then you did that. You got with the Jahan Joneses. Started doing videos.
Shout out Jahan Jones.
Yeah, and my homie King Batch, like I just did a video with him.
Did y'all go to school together?
We went to Florida State together.
Oh yeah, my frat bro too. Shout out to King Batch.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Sigma,
Sigmas. That's right. But yeah, we just shot something yesterday, and I posted a picture. 500. I've never got this much, like 500 likes. Then I posted that I was on the podcast. I did another podcast yesterday. 15 likes, but I'm like, crazy. Damn, just him being in the picture.
That's how big influence is, man.
But and at first, I'll be honest, like when you're watching that, you're like, dang, like because he's, you're like, oh, did they skip a step or whatever? You start, the jealousy starts to erode in your mind. But then when you're honest about it, you're like, especially me knowing King Batch specifically, that dude never stopped working, and he had things that failed. Like, you know what I mean? He tried to do a movie, and we, know, that we didn't do what we wanted to do, and we did sketches, we did all. But then when he found Vine, found his thing. You know what I mean? Found his comfort zone, and he still wants to try to stand up and learn.
Yeah,
that
he's a hustler,
muscle,
bro. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he just wants to make everything as great as he can make it, and be as good as he can be in anything he does. But I've learned, as opposed to sitting back and going, well, he can't do this, or I do this better. Or why am I not? I'm gonna say, dang, I watch his work ethic. I watch how he conducts business. I watch how he gets to celebrate stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he'll celebrate. Like, he invite us over. Hey man, let's have some drinks for this. But he don't throw the big birthday bashes and all that. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, wow.
And he always has good people around him too.
Exactly.
Like, I've never been to his house and there not be people there. You know what I'm saying? But it's always just good people that's like smart, young, creative.
You feel the
like,
vibe. You feel like a good vibe, and you're like, that's smart to keep that type of energy around you. And like, just so learning even from you, watching you conduct yourself in that way, continue to grow, say, okay, I'm popping in stand-up. I just did last comic. But then one day you were like, I was in my acting class. I'm like, the hell you doing acting class for? You just did last comic. But you, like you said, now you're insecure because of that. Now you're doing a movie because of that. Yeah. So I'm like, dang, like you're somebody who I've always watched, and even you show up, I don't mean to embarrass you, but one time you showed up to the club and had like this amazing woman with you. Like, I was like,
probably my lady.
Oh, is that your lady?
Probably so.
Now?
It was recent. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I don't know if it was wild. It was maybe a while ago. But either way, we was like, dang, like it's something about the lady he brought with him. And I was like, look at the confidence, because you was doing the chocolate sundae.
Yeah.
And it was so many people there, like ballers, like football players and this. But all the comedians looking at you like that's the coolest.
He doing something right with his life, right? He doing something right with his life,
and I'm talking about like, and that gave me the confidence. I'm like, man, I'm funny. That means something. Football players, I got your muscles and all that.
You got your muscles
and your tallness and
your muscle milk. We get it.
I don't mean to attack you specifically, brother. I'm not attacking you. I'm just saying. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, dang, you know what? There's something in this world that it's different, like where you worship. I don't want to say worship. That's a bad word. I've been talking about, but you know what I'm saying.
I got you,
My world is like, is more important than right. Like I'm impressed. Oh, good for you. You're a doctor, man. But I'm not threatened by that. Like, I'm like
right.
But you're not funny. You know what I mean? Like, I look at a stand or a football player. I'm like, oh, you got $1 million, but how much time can you do, brother? You know what I'm saying?
You get these jokes. You sling these
5
jokes.
minutes? No.
Yeah, man.
So
I appreciate it, man. And one thing I learned along my journey is, success is cool, and my pastor, he always mentioned people get caught up in what they do and make that their identity. Call it smoking that me weed, where you think it's about you. And a few things I do to stay humble is like I always reach out to my bros, man, and my friends to kind of remind me of, I don't have all the answers, because I'm still learning. And my relationship is really dope, and I have really good family members. Like my mama don't care about my TV credits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, ma, I got on Last Comic Standing. She was like, well, you need to be the last comic taking this doggone trash out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how my family is. That's a few things I do to stay humble, because if you don't, you get caught up in thinking whatever you do is your identity, which is not the case.
Damn.
Ed, one thing I admire about you, man, is that you've always given back. The more you grow, I've seen you give back and like take on young kids. Like you had like, what is it? You're gonna adopt a kid or something like that before?
Yeah.
But he's always done mentorship, which I really admire about you. What was that experience like? What makes you so inclined to like actually give back to young kids?
Like one of the things is like I touched on it earlier when I realized some of the teammates that I played with didn't have fathers and saw some of the things that was happening with them. I said, you know what? I can make a difference just by being there, because my dad wasn't there all the time, but I had access to him. So I said, if I can give 10, 15 kids access to me, then those are people who won't rob me in the future, or you know what I'm saying, won't end up in jail. So that's one of the motivating factors. And there's also a universal law. It's like I touched on it earlier. You get back what you put out, but it happens with money, everything. Yeah. So I try to outgive God. I give money all the time. And so when I've done that, I've learned that He's always gonna win. I get blessed the more that I give, and most people don't know that. Most people want to hoard it. But when you hoard it, you're telling the universe that I don't need to bless this guy. He has it already. You know what I'm saying? But when you give it out, it's like, okay, I got to refill that guy's tank. Boom. And money comes from so many different ways. And money is not even money. It's just blessing. It could be things. It could be a word of advice. It could be a connection. So I just try to follow those universal laws, man, and they work. They're definite.
That's really cool, man. And for myself, like I don't say pride myself on, but I always make sure I give back and do public speaking for kids. Like I'll do it for free. If a school want me to come to their school and speak to these kids on career day, particularly, I tell them about pursuing this dream because this is another option. I didn't know it was a thing. Like I grew up in a town where dreams were not real. Like my community dreamed. Like my parents didn't dream. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I mention too, sometimes your dream is, your dream is big enough when people close to you don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like when your family don't get it, but sometimes when you're in these families, God will blow you up so your family can know that dreams are real. And you're a trailblazer and you affect other people, even for myself, man. But I really take pride in giving back to kids because I feel like that's a part of my journey. And that's what I owe these kids for God blessing me enough to like live a really dope life. Like I'm pretty sure I make more money than both of my parents just by saying yes to my dream and I have a degree. You know what I'm saying? But I feel very blessed by that. But anyway, if you're listening right now, I'm your host, comedian Ron G. We're doing the comedy pop-up show. In the studio, we got my boy Ed Benton, creative mogul, and we got my man Sean G, dope comedian, actor, and I'm really proud of both of these guys, man. They got a lot of great stuff going on. So we're getting ready to wrap up the show, but before we go, I got this little segment I do where I ask you, both of you questions, and you can answer any kind of way you want to, no right or wrong answer, and you just give me the answer you feel is right. Actually, we got homeless people walking by, but you know what? It's all good. Let them be great. We good. But I'm getting ready to ask you questions, man. Then we gonna wrap it up and find out what you guys got going on, and give them your social media handle so we can move forward. That being said, first question. If you could do coffee with one person dead or alive, who would it be?
Dang, I'll go Muhammad Ali.
Why is that?
You know, he's so inspiring in the things that he was willing to lose in order to be, who he is. He was willing to lose his whole career. And that's what made him become really who he was. And I think we'd have a good conversation, man. I'm inspired by, but I feel like he's my mentor anyway because I read everything he's, I follow him in that way. So it's kind of an extended mentor.
Awesome. What about you, Ed?
I want to say Jesus, but I feel like that's a no-brainer. You know what I'm saying? So I'll probably do...
what up, JC?
Right.
What up, Pimp? You want this latte? Hebrews, get it? Hebrews. Brilliant. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead.
Damn, that boy good.
I probably would do Elon Musk, man. He's today's he's today's Einstein, man. The way his mind works, I think a conversation with him would be worth tons of money. You could walk away and do something with
it.
That
roaster.
Damn. Oh my God.
Oh, that roaster. They just revealed the semi truck that he just invented, but he revealed a roaster as well that goes 0 to 60.
0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds.
9 seconds.
It's the fastest production car ever made. And it's an electric car, by the way. And it can get from here to San Francisco and back on one charge.
Gee. It's gorgeous. It's a real
That's insane. That's 600 miles on a charge.
That's so crazy. If I could do it, this answer changes probably every week, but I would probably want to sit down with Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory legit changed comedy and the face of comedy. Like he was what David Chappelle and Chris Rock is to our generation, but before it was even cool, like talking junk about white folks in front of them and making it funny. You know what I'm saying? And he was a part of the civil rights movement, which I feel like him and I have a similar spirit where we, it's bigger than comedy. You know what I'm saying?
Is he your favorite comic?
He's one of them. He's legit.
Do you have one?
I do. I feel like the older I get, I don't have any heroes anymore. I like people's work, but sometimes, we live in a time now, you got to separate people from their work. Right. You can love their work, but them as a person, they might, I'm a Kevin Spacey fan, but I'm like, it's a tough one. You know what I'm saying?
Can't be doing
It's kind of tough. So, my favorite, I feel like probably Jamie Foxx is the one that made me want to start doing comedy. Like looking at him, I'm like, yo, he reminds me of myself. Similar swag, always fun. And then, Of course, Daddy Rich and Eddie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And something about Damon Wayans too. Damon Wayans Sr.
Oh yeah.
He was just, I don't know, he just had the swag about him I just really liked. And he's
Damon over Keenan?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Keenan's just a production wise, like just what he's done for comedy, him and Robert Townsend,
Right.
I think it's just brilliant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Next question. What sound or smell reminds you of home?
Fish cooking, fried fish.
Fried fish?
Yeah,
Any kind of fish? Catfish?
Oh no!
Sole?
It was
Tilapia?
It was kingfish. Grandma would always. I sit there in my drawers watching Jungle Book.
Hysterical.
And Grandma would.
How old were you again?
I was like 8.
Okay, I thought you were about to say 18. I'm like, nigga.
No, cause I try to be like.
Oh, I said
Mowgli.
nigga today. Can you press the button? Uh-oh. You don't have the button today? Not available. This is the first nigga of the day comedy podcast. All right, cool. Anyway, go ahead.
No, yeah, I just sit there in my red drawers because I thought I was Mowgli from Jungle Book, and
So stupid.
Grandma would make me fried fish.
That's so funny.
So yeah, I walk around in my red drawers to this day. I feel like a little boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say
What about
cooked corn. Cooked corn. I'm from Fresno, Central Valley.
Yeah.
A lot of farmland, so cooked corn kind of.
I don't even know what that is. What is that's like legit shredded like corn
Like corn
kernels?
cooked, like boiled corn.
Isn't that popcorn?
No,
No? It's not?
no,
Okay, all right.
no. Like the corn on the cob, and you boil it. There's like a smell that it has.
Oh man,
That
okay.
kind of reminds me of home a little
That's
bit.
definitely West Coast. I'm used to starch and grease and cheese grits and
Grits and-
eggs
yeah.
and stuff. Yeah. Next question. What is one thing you learned about yourself from your last relationship? Yourself, not your person.
Dang, I learned that I was petty, and I've been taking control of it. I was very petty. We would play these social media games.
Yeah.
Where she wouldn't post me on her social media, like she would like literally cut me out, and then so I would
be her
post
arm
it.
up like this?
right,
Like this?
and we would get in an argument because then I would post a picture of me and some other girl,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean, like
It was a fan, babe.
right,
It was a
right.
fan.
but I know I posted that picture, you know what I mean,
On purpose?
and I was like,
It was never. She was never ugly either, right?
Oh no! Yeah.
Of course.
So just to
You slick.
and I was like, let me not. Why play games like that? You know, it just it goes nowhere. So let me
Petty
stop.
Pendergrass, ladies and gentlemen.
Petty Pendergrass.
What about you?
I learned to not be biased. For a very long time, I always looked for the girl with the nice ass, certain this and that, and then
Who
I
don't
met
look
some.
for nice rumps, nice games?
I mean, I still look, but you know what I'm saying? I realized that it's not about that. It's
No.
about being happy at the end
right.
of the day. I used to judge guys when I was younger, and I feel so bad. You see a black guy with a white girl, you be like, sell out. But then as I got to meet people from all over the world, I realized, man, that is so stupid to be racist, really.
Yeah.
Like I am what I hated. You know what I'm saying? So once I realized that, it really opened up a lot of lanes for me and how I interacted with different people and what I learned. So
I feel like if women could wear like their integrity or peace
Oh, my
on them like an
gosh.
ass, like my girl, I had to fight people if her peace
yeah.
looked like an ass. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect
Like if you could
sense.
see it like an ass, like but
There's a movie, Shallow Hal. Remember the movie Shallow Hal?
yeah.
Yeah, they were beautiful on the outside to him, how
Right.
dope they were on the inside. So I wish that.
Man, well, no, I don't wish it because dudes be fighting me all day because y'all don't
Right.
know how dope my girl is. Like, but you don't have to. If you,
That's that Southern boy talk, man. We brag about that lady, man. Especially when she dope too.
oh, she's amazing. But she ain't walking around with everything out that other dudes will fight me to see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But what I know about, I'm like, ooh, if y'all only knew, like your
Man,
life would change if you had this woman.
Man, that's a
Exactly.
whole
You keep
nother
saying-
episode too, where like being an entertainer and coming home to peace is the
Yeah.
most amazing thing ever. People have no idea. Much
my
as
God.
a girl want to be jealous and like, you worry about these girls and shit. Like, yo, like it's something about a woman that smell like home.
Yeah.
She just smell like home cooked meal, candles, and
Oh,
and,
man.
and furry bathroom carpet. You like, I just want to lay on your booty and take a nap.
Right.
I don't want nothing from you. That's all. Let me just take care of you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
It's really dope, man. So listen, man, in the studio, we got my boy Ed Benton and Sean G, man. Before we wrap it up, if you want to let the people know what you got coming up and how can they contact you?
You can find me on Instagram at Sean Grant Pictures or Twitter at Sean Grant Words. And check out Dead House on LOL Network. Me and Batch wrote that.
That's dope.
And also January, we got laugh tracks coming out on True TV.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. And make sure we spell your name right. How do you spell Sean G?
Sean
Grant?
SeanGrant Pictures. Sean Grant.
Okay, dope, man. And Ed?
You can find me on all social media, Edwin B33, EDWIN B33. Download Slang and Friends in app stores. Also check for Slang and Friends, the card game. We might change the name to Turn Up. This is what we're working on now, trying to get the trademark. So Turn Up or Slang and Friends, check for that in stores, Walmart, Target, middle of next year. Also invest in cryptocurrency. I just want to say that real quick.
Yeah.
That's taking off right now. Bitcoin's at $11,000. It goes up and down. It's probably at 10 right now. But a year ago, it was at what, $600 or something, 1,000 or something crazy. So for those of you who don't have 401ks, this is a chance for you to put your money somewhere. It's gonna grow. It's supposed to be at 40,000 by the end of 2018. So invest. Invest your money, and it can be anything. $100, $20. Invest. This is a way for us to get our wealth.
Wealth, yeah, absolutely, yeah. You heard it from Ed Benton, man. First of all, I just want to say thank you guys for coming to the show. You're listening to Comedian Ron G, Comedian RONG. Follow me on everything, Comedian RONG. I'm your host of Comedy Pop-Up. Be sure to follow us at Comedy Pop-Up. It sounds and spelled just how it sounds. Comedy Pop-Up. We do this every single week where we don't small talk. Thank you for joining us, and it's been amazing. Yeah. Great job, fellas.
Thank you for listening to that episode of the Comedy Pop-Up Podcast. Once again, if you'd like to catch any of our live stand-up shows, December 9th will be at PBW in downtown Pomona. December 16th will be in Santa Monica, and December 23rd will be at the Rec Room in Huntington Beach. For more information on any of those shows, please visit our website, comedypopup.la.com. And once again, please follow us on social media at Comedy Pop-Up.